Just 5 songs to go, people. All right, so I'm going to give them a little breather here, just one last time, because actually our next piece is the most difficult piece in the entire concert. So I'm just going to give them a mental break for a moment. Our high school wind ensemble is made up of high schoolers as well as some very ambitious and hardworking middle schoolers. The high school band meets 5 days a week for about 40 minutes per period, except for those students in choir, who I share with Mr. B every other day. In a wonderful change of schedule, we've had the same band since the beginning of the year. I get a round of applause. The last 3 years I was here, the band would change in the semester. We would lose some people, gain some people would stay, and it was always very inconsistent, and it was hard to build a band that way. So now we've had the same people the entire year, and we have really grown. And we're doing great things, and I'm really happy with everybody up on that stage. So, while we won't be perfect, these students have worked incredibly hard to improve and get to the level they are today. Before we play our first wind ensemble piece, I'd like to recognize our band's seniors, who have done an amazing job this year, stepping up as leaders and musicians, and overall just being awesome, dependable people. I'd like to start with Sebastian. Go stand up. So Sebastian, Sebastian's only been with me this year, although they do have experience in sax going back to middle school, right? Sebastian joined Color Guard this year for the first time in marching band and played tenor sax and wind ensemble and jazz band. Really stepped up and simply been a joy to have in rehearsal. I look forward to hearing all of the awesome things you'll do in the future. Next up, thank you. Another round of applause for Sebastian. Maddie's only been with us for the last 2 years, but this year she really stepped up. She stepped up and became a quiet leader, always willing to help me and remind me when I'm inevitably forgetting something. Have I forgotten anything yet? No? Okay, all right. And helping to guide some of our younger students to make better choices during marching band. Apparently Maddie's even making noises like she'll be getting her volunteer clearances done and helping with marching band next season. Maybe. Yeah. So, thank you, Maddie, for being an awesome student. Brody is already standing. Oh, here he comes. Brody's only been with us for 2 years, but what a great 2 years. Brody is our scales champion. He has the most points out of anybody on our scale chart. He's the most consistent overall percussionist we've had. He can sight read, he can play mallets, he can play timpani, he can play snare, he does it all, and never complains, and I never have to worry that he can't handle something I should. So thank you, Brody, for being awesome. You all know Max. Max was, in fact, responsible sax quartet. He's really started to explore more aspects of being a musician with guitar. He's even building a bass with Mr. B as we speak, as well as taking solos in jazz band. You may have noticed in The Incredibles. He's grown as a musician and a student every year, and I have to thank him and his parents for everything they've done for the music program here. Thank you, the Ferries. Last but not least, Levi. Levi and Max have been with me since I got here in February 2021. As soon as I heard Levi play, I knew there was something special there. Levi could pick up music quickly, analyze and solve problems without me having to tell him what to do, and very quickly he became a trusted leader in the low brass section. And very quickly, he was our junior and then senior drum major for the last 2 years. Levi has auditioned, performed, you get it. He's dedicated a huge part of his life to instrumental, vocal, and theater music. He's done SCB, District 8 band for 2 years, Region band this year, District choir, Region choir, and even all-state choir this year. Levi will be attending, as you know, Susquehanna University next year for music education, vocal track, minoring in euphonium. And I truly look forward to hearing what he can accomplish in his college and future career as a musician and educator. So, there's Luke. Thank you, seniors. Now that the band's been able to catch their breath, our next piece is based on Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring by J.S. Bach, and the finale of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, the famous Ode to Joy. I love how this piece takes these two melodies and blends them into something that's a modern-sounding rock style. This is probably our most difficult piece in the concert. We've worked really hard at this. I'm pretty sure the band has a love-hate relationship with this piece of music at this point. But as I said at the beginning of the concert, for many of them, this will be the final time they ever play Songs of Joy. I love this song. Better now? Good? Okay. So our next piece of music is called Phasing Thunder. And I also tried to do this. Well, this is another one I tried to do last year, but because of the switchover of bands, we lost some instruments, and then we're pretty much incapable of really rehearsing this and putting it together. We're doing it now. This is basically a concept piece that starts out with far in the distance a thunderstorm approaching, and it builds and grows slowly until we reach the crescendo of the thunderstorm, and then we get to watch it and listen to it fade away. And that's it. This piece normally calls for a couple of pitched, tuned wine glasses, and I thought about this for a while, how to do this safely. And in the end, I decided to have Isaac play it on the keyboard. I figured the less breakable glass on stage, the better. So, let's check that sound. 288. I made a small change to the program last minute. I was thinking about it, and I called an audible, and we are actually going to play Encanto next. This piece is not based on the movie Encanto. This is written back in 1980 something. I can't remember at the moment. This is actually, it opens with a brass fanfare, echoed by the whole band, and then breaking into various catchy rhythms and melodies. This is written by Robert W. Smith, who just passed away, I think, just last year. He was a very prolific writer of band and orchestral music of all levels, from elementary band all the way up through college and professional level groups. Encanto by Robert W. Smith. I'm so proud of these guys for being able to play through that and get through it all. When was the last time we rehearsed that? A week or two ago. The schedule, so if you don't know, we've had Keystone testing all this week, and before that we had various other schedule issues and things that happened. So, yeah, it's been a while since we touched that, and they still nailed it. So, big round of applause for these guys. So our next piece is called An Endless Song, and you might recognize this, potentially. This piece is based on the hymn, How Can I Keep From Singing? The author of the lyrics was known only as Pauline T, and the original tune was composed by American Baptist minister Robert Lowry. Though it was not originally a Quaker hymn, Quakers adopted it as their own in the 20th century and still use it widely today. The lyrics are as follows. My life flows on in endless song, above earth's lamentation. I catch the sweet though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It finds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? So before we play our last piece for the whole night, next season Milton Marching Band's show is titled Pretty in Punk, and will feature music from Aqua, Radiohead, Paramore, and Pink. Any students from the high school and current 7th, 8th graders are welcome to join the band along with select 6th graders who are invited. I'm anticipating having about 60 students in the marching band. Again, we were just a little under 50, under 60 this year. So next season we'll be right around 60 again, if not maybe a little more. Up from about 20 when I got here. So that's pretty good. A special thanks to the parents, families, and community members of the Milton Area School District who have spent countless hours listening to our students practice, driving them to and from rehearsals, games, and concerts, as well as cheering them on. Yeah, round of applause for you. Thank you. And then, if there are any administrators or board members, if you could please stand so we could recognize you. I would really like to recognize you because we couldn't have this incredible opportunity for our students without your support. So let's give them a round of applause, please. Can't see, so. A huge thanks and a round of applause for Mr. Eric Bergmuller, Mrs. Jamie Flick, and Mrs. Alyssa Kosnicki for inspiring our music students and helping to build our music program, and just for being awesome colleagues. For our final piece, this is called Dance Carnival. It's a party. It's drama and humor all on display in this homage to romantic orchestra repertoire. You'll first hear a fast tempo melody interspersed with some very slow sections, sudden dynamic shifts, and for you music theory nerds out there, we're going to have a juxtaposition of D minor to F major. It's super fun. It just makes it so much fun. So enjoy our last piece, Dance Carnival.
Yeah.
of my heart, thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you for listening to us. Make sure your children know that they're appreciated. They worked really hard for this. They put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this performance. They get one, and then they're done. So next up, we have Memorial Day. Anybody who wants to play that, they get to volunteer. They have forms that they should have brought home, or they will soon. And then we have graduation band that we're putting together.